Shalom Akim, Kahalayim La Yahawashi Yashabashim Hakudash, and double honors to the great and apostles. Thalia Shah for the strength in order to make this video, and Yaratas they find it edifying and exhorting. To edify means to build up, to exhort means to encourage. And as I named the video, and of course sometimes I forget to say this as well. It's the brother Ratazar Rakha. It's the same name as the channel. Oftentimes I forget, but Yaratazar, when I remember, I'll say. So point is, as I named the video, Yahawashi's kingdom will be the true utopia. And of course, when going into the word utopia, in fact, let me get my phone right now, and then I'm gonna get the definition. Right, so because utopia, of course, is the opposite of a dystopia, which is what Esau's agenda is actually going towards. Certain games, certain movies, especially the Terminator movies as well, back in really before the 2000s. Those ones, or early 2000s as well. They really orchestrate or illustrate this dystopian society, which is a society that isn't really, it doesn't aid in the betterment of for specifically Israelites anyways. But let me get this definition. It's essentially a society of which involves a lot of death, metaphorically and literally. But let's get the definition of utopia. Hold on. And then we'll get the definition of dystopia so you can get both sides of it, the opposites. So utopia, in the AI overview for Google, it says a utopia is an imagined place or state of things which everything is perfect, especially in its laws, government, and social conditions. You see, that means a utopia is when everything is perfect, and we know before Israel, before the whole earth and everything else that follows after it, and when I say everything else, I'm talking about the heathen nations, is when Yahawashi establishes his kingdom, which will be the kingdom of Israel, and of course the laws, statutes, and commandments of the scriptures, of which we teach day to day, would then be instituted for everyone else to follow, man. That's when the wisdom that we were given, which is through these laws within the scriptures, would then be put upon these heathen nations so that they can also listen as well and obey, and no longer would Esau's atrocities, or what do they call them? Yeah, draconian measures be used anymore. That'll be put out of the way. So let's get again, a utopia is an imagined place, a state of things where everything is perfect, and we're gonna reach true perfection in Yahawashi's kingdom, man. Let me get this precept quickly. True perfection, it says, especially in its laws, government, and social conditions. And I was speaking about the fact that Israel were given the laws so that they can really to give them wisdom and understanding, so that they would be above the other heathen nations. So just hold on. So in Deuteronomy 4. A utopia for Israel would also even benefit the heathen nations as well. Esau's so-called utopia, which is really a dystopia, is that doesn't benefit the heathens either. So that's when the heathens in our kingdom, they're gonna realize, yeah, Israelites should have been on top the whole time, man. We were treating them like this the whole time. We were treating them like shit the whole time. They'll realize that. Right, let's get this. Let's get this. Right, so this is Deuteronomy chapter 4, starting from verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and commandments, even as the Lord Yahweh my power commanded me, that ye should do so, in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them. So really, wherever Israel is, they're supposed to obey those laws. It's supposed to be embedded in their minds. So verse 6, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations. It's talking about these other heathen nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. You see? So that's why Yahawashi, that's why the Most High Yahweh gave us these laws, so that we will be a wise and understanding people, and also that wisdom given unto us mean that we'll be above the nations as well, because we'll be the ones leading them and guiding them, on how to live. And it says in verse 7, Deuteronomy 4:7, for what nation is there so great, who hath the Most High so nigh unto them, as the Lord Yahweh our power is in all things that we call upon him for. It says in verse 8, and what nation is there so great that hath statutes and judgments so righteous? Again, going into that definition, it says in Utopia, a utopia is an imagined place or state of things where everything is perfect, especially in its laws, government, and social conditions, which is why I'm bringing out this precept right here, because all the laws of Yahawashi given unto Israel were really perfection, man. And of course, despite the fact that we were in the flesh, we are still in the flesh as well, which is why we are hindered from reaching that perfection and being able to keep all the commandments, which we can't do, because again, we're in the flesh. And not just that too, we're under subjection to our enemy as well, Esau, Edom. Now, verse 8, it says, and what, so Deuteronomy 4:8, and what nation is there so great that hath statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day? You see, so that's the point right there, man. The laws of Yahweh Shem Shai that were given unto us are righteous. And read the standard or the measurement of righteousness is via the scriptures, which of course is ordained by the word of Yahweh Shem Shai. Let's get this quick one here as well. And I'm going to get to the definition of utopia again, then I'm going to get the definition of dystopia. Because right now, Esau's just increasing that, the dystopian, or how can I say this? He's increasing the influence of a dystopian society more and more, which is just meaning that he's pushing towards that beast system, where he's going to say, all right, no one can partake in any social activities unless you take that MOTB. Revelation 13 and verse 16 to 18. Which, by the way, is that implant, man. Because there will be a time where even saying it, saying implant or CHI to the P or certain words, you got to use code words now as well. We won't be able to do it anymore, because it will be the famine of the word. And the famine of the word, again, I believe is reference to Amos 8 and 11, is when Esau's going to go hard and say, no way, man, you prophets got. That's when the Most High is going to withdraw the prophets. That's when people are going to start realizing, oh damn, the prophet has really been among them. They're going to start realizing, oh damn, we should have been listening. But again, you got to be grateful to Yahweh Shem Shai. We got this truth, man. And for those who don't, the Most High's will be done. You can't argue with the Most High, man. Let's see, hold on. I was going to get Psalms 147. Just bear with me for a moment. Them laws are to make Israel to be wiser than the nations, man. Imagine, even just something simple as the dietary laws. I say something simple, but of course, that's something that the reason why I say it's something simple is because when you first enter into this truth and you gain the understanding of certain dietary laws, such as don't eat fish that don't have fins or scales. Of course, don't eat swine, which is basically pork, pig. Those things as well. It's like, oh damn, the heathen nations do this as well. But then when you get into the technicalities of things or the details of these things, it's like, oh, they got all sorts of parasites in them. Brothers have probably seen the video of the farmer guy who tested it. He gave him dead fish, some rotten vegetables, And they ate it all up. They ate it all up as well. They ate it all up, man. So the point is, man, the Most High gave us these laws for a very, very good reason, to be so that we are a wise and understanding people. Because really, it increases our level of understanding. When it comes to navigating the world and how to how do you say it? Behave, how to behave, of course, and also how to, when I say navigate the world, how to really how to live life. That's the thing, in a wiser manner. Compared to the heathen nations, they're really the crazy ones, not us. We're just more disciplined. But Yaratazar, the perfection of that discipline will be when we enter those new bodies, as referenced in 1 Corinthians 15, verse 40 onwards. That's when we're going to get that new heart. Now, just hold on, let me get it. Deuteronomy, actually no, not Deuteronomy. Alright, hold on. Right, so this is Psalms 147, verse 19. So it says, Psalms 147, verse 19 to 20. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord, Yahawashi. You see? So it says he showeth his word, and of course his word is the scriptures, which of course contains the law that he's ordained for us to follow. That's why it says here also his statutes and his judgments unto Israel as well, which means Israel is the one of whom is supposed to be listening to these laws. So these so-called Christians of the world, trying to say that they're the ones who are given the Bible, so-called Bible. Really, the Bible was supposed to be for Israel, man. It's supposed to be for Israel, not just any other person or some heathen Christian, so-called Christian. But verse 20 says, he hath not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. The they that is talking about here is talking about the heathen nations. They haven't known the judgments. They try to teach it, all these Christian schools and whatnot, but they don't teach it properly, man. It's a misunderstanding. Even the basic of say the basic, but certain chapters require a breakdown, of course, and they're supposed to be taught. Hence why we give double honors to the great Muslim apostles. Apostle Taha, Apostle Gabar, Apostle Arambla, Apostle Rachad, and Apostle Arambla, and of course the elder bishops as well. Because they're the ones of whom taught us, the true breakdowns, the true understanding through her Hakodash, through the Holy Spirit that the Most High gave unto them. So that's how we gain the knowledge and we get that right understanding. If you ain't taught well, then of course you're gonna produce corrupt fruit, of course, metaphorically speaking. But yeah, so that's the point there. Let me actually get to the point of the lesson. That's like a warm up there. But yeah, so Utopia, the definition of Utopia says, a utopia is an imagined place or state of things where everything is perfect. And again, we established that with multiple precepts, pertaining to the perfection of our bodies, so that we actually execute the law in righteousness, as well as hold on. So not just the bodies as well, but also, first of all, because once we get the bodies, we get we're able to actually have or comprehend a fully fulfilled, that's the way to say it, fully fulfill the law of the scriptures, man. Because again, we're not in a perfect state to be able to fulfill all the law, so that's why the scriptures say, our righteousness is regarded as filthy rags. Let me just get that one quickly. Righteousness, hold on. This is Isaiah 64 and verse 6. But we all as an unclean thing, and all our righteousnesses are as filthy rags, and we all do fade as a leaf, and our iniquities, like the wind, have taken us away. That's why we need the grace and the mercy of Yahawashi. That's why we need Yahawashi as the mediator as well. As it says it in 1 Timothy 2 and 5, for there is one power and one mediator, the intercessor, the one who's to join the two parties, together. Again, one party being Israel, the other party being, the Most High. Yahawashi is the one to say, Baruksha, Salakia, on our behalf, basically, for all the bullshit, all the nonsense that we've done, to anger Yahweh. Right, so let's get to the lesson. So I said, so that's Utopia, perfect laws, perfection, especially in the laws, government, and social conditions. And I remember watching a video as well of Apostle Bar talking about the land Sabbath as well, man. That's something that Esau doesn't institute. And the fact that he doesn't institute that, that's why all the parasites, you could say that, but mainly all the pests and all the bugs that infect and start to eat the food, that's as a curse upon the land, as he said, man. I think it was a recent video. I'm trying to remember the name of the video, but I think he made it yesterday. So let me see if I can find it quickly. I checked the video and it was called "A Face Appears in the Clouds." But the point is, in the beginning of the video, he really talked about the land Sabbath and how Esau, because of Esau's influence, Esau's in rulership, he doesn't obey the laws of the Most High, and he's a heathen anyways. That's why Psalms 147, verse 19 to 20 says that it wasn't for them, it's for Israel to take up the statutes and the judgments. So let's get back to the lesson. I said I wanted to get the definition of dystopia now. So Utopia is perfection in its laws, government, and social conditions. Now let's see the definition of dystopia. Even Esau's idea of Utopia is warped as well, man. That movie called Elysium as well. Where they got this basically space ring where all the elites live there, and then all the pretty much Jakes. It was Jakes that was being Issachar specifically, as Apostle Tahar made a video on it a while back. It wasn't even too long ago, but it was like probably a few months ago. The movie called Elysium, with Matt Damon, I believe. But yeah, man, the elites were living up there. Then Jake over here, specifically Issachar, were living down here on Earth, man. And then the restriction to medicine was quite great. That's the thing. So even Esau's idea of Utopia being a space, as Elon Musk says, a space-bearing civilization, which he won't achieve that, by the way. He won't achieve that. You will only have probably like some illusionists. When I say illusion, you can only but achieve the illusion of it, but not the real deal, because he can't go past certain barriers, up there in space, aka the Van Allen belt. So anyways, let's see the definition of dystopia. It says a dystopia is an imagined, so this is AI overview from Google. A dystopia is an imagined society or state where life is extremely unpleasant and dehumanizing, characterized by misery, oppression, and fear. You see, that is Esau's society. Esau's society can be best described as a dystopia, and it's just increasing more and more in that pressure, in that oppression, as it said there. It says characterized by, it says where life is extremely unpleasant, dehumanizing, characterized by misery, oppression, and fear. So that's 5 negative factors right there. Dehumanization, unpleasantness, misery, oppression, and fear, man. So that's why people, again, let me get the scripture right now. It says when the wicked beareth rule. Hold on. Wicked beareth rule. This is Proverbs 29 and verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, you see, when the righteous are in authority, which is when Yahawashi's kingdom is going to be established, when the utopia is going to be established, the perfection of the laws, the government, and the social conditions. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Hence why that all links up with that definition of dystopia as well. Right, so, hold on. So that's dystopia, that's utopia. Let me get this right now. Right, so this is Revelation 21, verse 1 to 4. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. That's talking about the elect when they descend from the chariots. After they come up into the chariots, of course they go through the crowning ceremony. When they come down, that's talking about the 144,000, descending from those chariots, man. From the Most High of heaven, from the chariots, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. It says, and I heard a great voice out of the heaven, saying, behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and the Most High himself shall be with them, and be their power, man. You see, so of course that'll be the time where Israel's going to be in its perfect state, because you gotta get to the root first, which is really the first fruits. Your Yahawashi, and of course the elect 144,000, of whom created the universe in the beginning, from the blueprint that the Most High Yahweh gave them. Yaharatazar in the Genesis 1 breakdown. When I do get to it, Yaharatazar, I need to do that breakdown too. But yeah, that's what it's related to, man. The Genesis 1 breakdown. So the point is that that the first fruits. What was my point again, man? Sometimes you go on you go from point to point, you forget the initial point. Let me read this again. So Revelation 21 and verse 3. And I heard a great voice out of the heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of the Most High. Again, that's reference to the 144,000. Is with men, and he will dwell with them. He will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and the Most High shall be with them, and be their power. Now let me get this one. Actually, hold on. That's the. Let me get Hosea 3, verse 4. Hosea 3, verse 4. So this is Hosea 3 and verse 4. I think verse 4 to 5. Yeah, verse 4 to 5. It says, for the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without teraphim. So they will be far away from practicing the laws, man. Especially considering the conditions that Yahawashi put us in, that the Most High put us in. And it says, verse 5. I talk about slavery and pretty much our enemy being over us. Now it says in verse 5, afterward shall the children of Israel return and seek the Lord Yahweh their power, you see, and David their king, and shall fear the Lord Yahweh and his goodness in the latter days as well. Because it was referring to hold on. Because in the latter days, that's when also the truth will also spring out as well, man. You got the elders of the elders, again the elders of the apostles. Abba Bivens, high priest Abba Bivens, high priest Yaquab, or elder high priest Yaquab, elder high priest Abba Bivens, elder high priest Ariah as well. And from what I can recall currently. But yeah, the point is that, in that time, that's when the truth then starts to spring out. And of course, Yahawashi Mashai, increase the knowledge, man, for Israel to then come back again, for the elect to then wake up again. And of course, get in their right mind as preparation for Yahawashi's arrival. So as it says there, afterward shall the children of Israel return and seek the Lord Yahweh their power, and David their king, and shall fear the Lord Yahweh and his goodness in the latter days as well. You know, so in the latter days they're going to seek David their king also. You know, so that also proves the reincarnation too. But yeah, that's also another topic for another day. But continuing on with this specific topic though, let me get so I just read Revelation. So Revelation 21 verse 4 now. And the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. So of course, that's going to be the utopia for Israel. That's going to be the utopia for Israel. Because it says no death, no sorrow, no crying, no more pain anymore of any form, of any form. That's all about physical, mental, you could even say spiritual as well, man. People talk about generational trauma, flipping pain. Yeah, all of that will be done away with. But yeah, anyways, let's get to this. So, Wisdom of Solomon 6 and verse 21. If your delight be then in thrones and scepters, O ye kings of the people, honor wisdom. Remember, as we began with in the beginning of this lesson, with Deuteronomy 4, verse, I believe 5 to verse 6 or verse 8. So the wisdom was given unto Israel to be above the nations. If your delight be then in thrones and scepters, which is what the elect are going to be ruling on, O ye kings of the people, honor wisdom, that ye may reign forevermore. So that's the point right there. Honor wisdom, respect to wisdom. And that's why I was going to be, in the kingdom, because through wisdom, that's how a ruler is. That's how a ruler gains reverence and is able to actually rule over the people perfectly, really. Because through wisdom, that's how all things are done well. Right. So this is Matthew 7 and verse 21. It says, and another of his disciples. Actually, hold on. Let me check the chapter quickly. Matthew chapter 7 and verse 21. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doth the will of my Father which is in heaven. So of course this is talking about, not everyone says, you can see it both ways anyways, because really mainly not everyone that says, Yahawashi, or Yahawashi, is going to go into the kingdom of heaven. If you ain't doing the will of the Father, which of course considering diligence as well in the work, which means careful and consistent effort, for feeding the sheep, again, metaphorically speaking here, feeding the sheep, which is really just breaking down the knowledge of the scriptures, so that, more of the elect will then come in, and they'll also be able to do the same thing too. You teach so that others are able to teach, or really teach so that they understand first before they're able to teach. And that's really referring to the men, of this ministry. So it said, not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doth the will of my Father which is in heaven, which is just a reflection of the fact that this truth is about action as well. Being proactive, which is key. So that's just the point right there, man. For us to actually get to the kingdom of heaven, we're going to have to take that action. We're going to have to be proactive, and not just that too, but also have to endure certain things as well, which is part of the action that we have to go through as well. There was a point I was going to make after that as well. But yeah, the point is action and endurance, man. That's what it involves in order to get to the kingdom of Yahawashi. So Utopia, dystopia. Let me get the next one. Speaking of endurance, yes, so Matthew 5 and verse 10. Matthew 5 and verse 10, blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven, man. So of course, in order to get to that utopia, which again, as I named the video, Yahawashi's kingdom is the true utopia. We're going to have to go through that suffering, man, as well. It says, blessed are they which persecute you. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, And of course, that righteousness is based on the standard of Yahawashi Yahawashi. Again, suffering wrongfully, being falsely accused. Of course, this can go into mental suffering, mental endurance, as well as again thorns that brothers be given. Example is Paul, you had a thorn as well. Pretty much just things of which you need to go through and endure through, suffer through, in this life as well. So that's what it means to get persecuted, and also not just that as well. The word, man. When I say the word, I'm talking about the word of Esau Edom. When he starts flipping, blabbering, and making false accusations of the Akim, with AI, as well as through the TV as well, man. So that's gonna be that's gonna be a time to that's when the goal gonna be really tried as well, man. So it says, "Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake." It's not just mental as well; it can be physical. Some of us may have to go through torture in those prisons as well. But Yahbashim and Sharatazar, we know that spiritual power can come. Not even can, it will come. Spiritual power will come, divine intervention will come. And of course, Yahbashim and Shah could also have it, where we don't even feel the pain at all. Flipping blades coming. Don't want to get too graphic here, but anyways, you could be getting about to get sliced, or maybe the blade's there. It's like you don't feel anything. It's like a little tickle. Despite you seeing it, it's like, what's going on here? the pain receptors in the brain aren't working anymore. The most I could turn that off. A lot of things can happen, man. That's why it says no evil shall touch thee, man. In Job 5, verse 22, I believe. Hold on, let me get that quickly. Let me just get it here. So Job chapter 5 and verse... Hold on, it should be here. Yeah, Job chapter 5 and verse 19. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. So of course, we're going to be good as well, man. We're going to be good in those times. And nevertheless as well, prior to I say prior, but of course in the moments where the missiles are going to be hitting America, that's when the beaming up is going to happen as well, which you could liken on to as a 7th trumpet as well. That period of time where they're going to go into the chariots, man. The elect Yaharatazar, us will then go into the chariots, as I said, Yaharatazar, man. So so no evil shall touch thee as well. But also in that time too, Yahweh Shem Yahshua will make us a sharp and threshing instrument, the scriptures say, to that spiritual power. The point is that we don't need to fear what Esau will do to us, man. Of course, all these emotions will then come up because of the flesh, but through Yahweh Shem Yahshua maintaining faith, it will be good. That's the end point. I'm gonna get a final preset and I'm gonna close it out, man. Alright, let's see. Alright, so that was the point there. Let me get another one. Alright, let's get this one. Actually, I could get this one. Hold on. Let me get this one. Alright, so this is John chapter 14 and verse 1 to 2. I mean verse 1 to 3. So John 14 verse 1. Let not your hearts be troubled. Ye believe in the Most High, believe also in me. That's why we say Yahweh Bahasham, Yahawashi. There's 3 Yahawashi. That's how we get to Yahweh. Now it says here, in my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you, man. I remember when our recent captain was making a point of we were seeing a whole fleet, as you call it, a fleet of chariots, man. Going towards the east side as well. Checked it on the compass. They're just going a whole heat. Probably, I counted more than 10, but then after that, lost count of it. I mean, not that I was paying too much attention. It's like I just knew they were there. So Thalia, Shah, that was the point. But Captain did mention about the fact that they're there also to encourage Akim as well. But not just that, they're also on missions too. They gotta be built. I go to prepare a place for you. Yahawashi sending the angels to do it. On our behalf as well. As he says here, in John 14:2, in my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And it says in verse 3, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. So of course we're going to be able to physically, be with Yahawashi again, man. It won't be a case of absence, which right now, you could compare it as onto text messaging kind of. For analogy, just for analogy's sake, that's what I'm using. Text messaging, because when we pray, we're sending a message onto Yahawashi. Baruch Azaria, which means Baruch help me. And whatever your intentions are, whatever you need help with, you tell Yahawashi. And of course, Yahawashi then helps you. Sometimes it's clear, whether it be the day after, or a week after, months, or even a year after, also or more. You then answer your prayer. And then you get that help, man. So it's like you're asking Big Brother to help you, man. Which really Yahawashi is our Big Brother, in the spirit, man. When you go into the order of spirits, man, created from Yahweh. So I think I'm gonna end off there. Yahweh's I found it edifying and exhorting, and gonna end off there. So Kahalayim La Yahawashi Yahshua Bashim Chakudash, and double honors to the great Muslim apostles and the elder bishops of Great Muslim too, and Shalom Yahawashi Yahshua Barakatha.